The 2010 Constitution, when Uhuru Kenyatta came into power in 2013, you will see the exponential growth of that debt.
Is it? What is out of order?
I've seated here listening, Honorable Speaker, and the majority leader keeps talking about solutions. But his entire presentation so far, and time is actually off, is about lamentations. So if we have the government lamenting before the Kenyan people, what do you want Kenyans to do?
Order, Honorable Ndini. You still are out of order. Proceed, Honorable Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I don't know what is itching my brother because I have not even finished my contribution. And I was headed there because, Honorable Speaker, I was saying, rather than lecture the country to want to seem to look intelligent, what we should be offering are solutions. And we should be telling Kenyans honestly that the Mwai Kibaki government did borrow, but they were living under different circumstances, not under the 2010 Constitution. The 2010 Constitution, when Uhuru Kenyatta came into power in 2013, you will see the exponential growth of that debt, dictated again by our circumstances. I know some of these members were not in that parliament, but we were there, Honorable Speaker. The former chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, a great Kenyan by the name Mutava Musimi, presided over an audit of the 2010 Constitution implementation and tabled a report in this House, Honorable Speaker, that told us we cannot and we will not afford to implement this Constitution in its entirety with our economy as it is. These are things that are in this House, Honorable Speaker, that we can read and inform ourselves. But that be so, Honorable Speaker, we are where we are. Aware that we cannot claw back on our gains in the Constitution of 2010, Honorable Speaker, because the people of northeastern Kenya today can pride themselves with having a brand new stadium in Wajir County, Honorable Speaker. The people of Wajir, for the first time in the history of Kenya, feel part and parcel of the Republic of Kenya. They are not excluded. That is the new nation that we are fashioning. And that nation cannot be fashioned, Honorable Speaker, with petty politicking and grandstanding and throwing jabs at each other to look intelligent to our villagers. I do not want to be that villager who looks brighter than fellow villagers. I want to be a leader in this country who will offer solutions. And those solutions, Honorable Speaker, come in the Sovereign Wealth Fund that is before this House being considered by the Finance and Planning Committee. Those solutions come in the National Infrastructure Fund, which we set up as this House, Honorable Speaker, to be able to have alternative means of financing this budget so that we do not continue growing our fiscal deficit. Those are the solutions we should be offering, Honorable Speaker. Some of these people are here, Honorable Speaker, speak about these issues, are people who stood in their place here to oppose the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund. Honorable Speaker, that National Infrastructure Fund is what, for those that we campaigned with, Honorable Speaker, and some were very loud in our campaigns in 2022. Very loud. Page 10 of the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto, Honorable Speaker, spoke about the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund. And some of those who were on cut-ups, pretending to be very intelligent economists, spoke to the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund. Hypocrisy, dishonesty, and political grandstanding for cheap publicity. Now they come before this House and they tell us, oh, this National Infrastructure Fund, oh, this is illegal borrowing, this is odious debt language they are borrowing from some guy called, I think, Jimmy someone. I don't know what he does in this country. He is a party leader of some party that was led by a former member of parliament from Kikuyu. Honorable Speaker, securitization, Honorable Speaker, is part of the solutions that we must devise to get away from these systemic fiscal deficits that we have year in, year out. Because if we do not find alternative means of financing our capital or our development expenditure, or even our recurrent expenditure, Honorable Speaker, we change our education system from 844 by Uhuru Kenyatta regime to CBE or CBC. We knew we had a deficit of 116,000 teachers, Honorable Speaker. When we changed Honorable Speaker, I do not know what I have said because the CBC...
Order. Everybody will have their moment. We will not have a situation in which you interrupt endlessly. He is making a contribution. Wait until he completes. When you get, what's your point of order?
I have due respect to the majority leader, because being majority leader, it takes a lot of energy and efforts to be there. But for record purposes, is it in order to say that 844 system of government was initiated during Uhuru's time and they were changing it now to this time? Let's just be factual.
No, he didn't say 844, he said something else. The CBC. Yes.
Yeah. You know, my brother Undo, I know, was touched when I mentioned the name Uhuru Kenyatta. Not 844, and actually he says 844 system of government is the 844 system of education. And it's a fact of life. When the former CS for education, Amina Mohammed, slowed down on the transition from 844 to CBC, she was fired by President Uhuru Kenyatta and brought in those who he thought would fast track the transition to CBC. But that left this country in a very uncertain time that I do not have time to go into that, Honorable Speaker. But we know, and I was saying the point I was making is that part of our recurrent expenditure is going to paying salaries and wages. There are 116,000 teachers that we said in our manifesto as Kenya Kwanza that we are short of 116,000 teachers. Facts again. The chair for education is here. He will tell you 100,000 out of those 116,000 teachers have since been employed. We have to pay them. These teachers are not employed to stand in shopping centers in Kikuyu or in Kiharu or in Funyula. They are teaching our children in schools, and we have to pay them, Honorable Speaker. Because we are paying these children, Honorable Speaker, we must then ask ourselves, then how do we finance this recurrent expenditure and capital expenditure without overburdening the Kenyan taxpayers with additional taxes? Because if you take that route, Kenyans have loudly told us they do not have space for additional taxation. And Honorable Speaker, that is why I was speaking to the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and Honorable Speaker, new innovative ways of financing our development growth and our development expenditure outside of the budget through such initiatives as securitization. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to support this motion by the Debt Committee and encourage them to be forthright members of our society, to be truthful and faithful to the truth, and to help steer our nation through the problems that we have found ourselves in, because we are in problems that were not created in these 3 years of the William Ruto administration. Problems of a decade ago, 10 years ago, created over 10 years ago. I heard the member for Funyula tell us that the owners of capital, Honorable Speaker, wanted us to continue borrowing domestically. And it is true. And he knows those who are presiding over state capture in the last regime. They are at pains today because we are consistently moving away from that through innovative means of financing our budget. We are not borrowing domestically. We are not growing their banks. No wonder some of them have begun selling their banks to South Africans. Shame on you.
Rendekere Mugambi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to the debate. Mr. Speaker, I am very disturbed